Hello everybody and welcome to this ThingLink enterprise webinar which we're putting on especially for education publishers, so a warm welcome to all of you. We've got a fantastic lineup again for this webinar. We've got about an hour or so, but we are bringing to you our favourite educator, Amanda Pickard, who's going to be sharing some of the amazing ThingLinks that she's been creating. So we also have joining us today Chris Bass, who's from ClassVR, who will talk about some of our partnerships, but we've also got lots of lovely slides for you to go through some of the developments in ThingLink. So I'm just going to share my screen with you and go straight to our deck. So hopefully you'll have seen this little slide that we've been sharing recently with some of our use cases for ThingLink, and I'm sure that you'll be aware that 2020 has just been a phenomenal year in terms of engaging young people and using digital tools and technologies, and we've done our best to try and support everybody throughout this year, including working with our partners. So we wanted to put on this webinar for you to really show how we have worked to increase engagement, increase product value, and that's when we're going to hear from Chris at VR, and also some of our growth partnerships, particularly from the University of Eastern Finland. As always, we like to give you an opportunity to ask us anything, and we've actually got a document that we've created. It's a collaborative Google Doc, and we wanted you to have an opportunity to ask us anything, but this is also a resource that you can use and take away with you. So there's the team in the background who are ready to answer any questions, but also if you've just got any ideas that you want to share as well, we'd love to hear from you. So without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to introduce Ulla, who is the CEO and founder of ThingLink. It's my great pleasure to introduce Ulla. Hello and welcome. Just on mute there. Oh,
there we go. Thank you so much. Welcome everybody to this webinar. It's great to talk about educational publishing for many reasons, and one of the reasons is that when 2011 when we released our first interactive image editor, publishers were our first business customers, and a lot of publishers at that time were looking for new tools to engage their audience in a new way, and they were looking for tools mostly to increase the time spent with their content. Because and Louise, you can actually switch already to like the slide that I created, like summarizing engagement and kind of like a little bit of the background for this webinar is so when publishers first started using ThingLink, they were creating new kinds of visual materials, and infographics has always been one of the most popular use cases for ThingLink. But many times when you put time and effort, you engage designers to create wonderful infographics, then in the end of the day, when your audience is viewing them from mobile phone, they don't spend too much time with the content, and they might just pass it in a couple of seconds. So a lot of publishers started creating interactive infographics, and because of two reasons. First of all, the increased time spent, but also to increase the value of the materials they were creating. So they wanted the readers to just instantly access additional information. So the infographic that way became more valuable. And now when we talk about education publishers specifically, we're talking about engagement again, but slightly in a different context or for different reasons. And of course, the goal for education publishers is also to increase the user or improve the user experience and the learner experience by giving additional information instantly right there. But also, as we've seen now with remote learning, one of the biggest challenges is engagement in terms of just making it easier for students to understand what they're supposed to pay attention to. So interactive media in this context serves to help guide the attention. When you add hotspots, it helps students understand what you should pay attention to, and this way it helps you to perceive things that educators want you to perceive. And then what's also been really interesting for engagement, what we've seen educational publishers and especially teachers innovating around and highlighting is the personal connection. So it's not anymore, and it's not only the standard content and textbook content that they want to share. They want to share localized content and personalized content. And we've seen that when talk about educational publishing, this is one of the trends that we hear about from our users, that many times when you share materials, then teachers come back and say like, this is great, but can I change this a little bit, or can I localize this for my students? And this is one of the like partnerships or examples of partnerships with ClassVR. What we're gonna show and talk about today, that how can you do both? Like how can you create engaging materials and provide a wonderful library for schools and for teachers, but how could they then localize and edit that material themselves? And again, for those, so this as an introduction, and sorry, Luis, I stopped, I jumped over one slide. So if you want to go back and just say, like, for those who never heard about ThingLink.
Yeah, sure. And I also just want to bring Stuart in here and say a big hello to Stuart in Boston. Hello over there in Boston. How's it going? Have you got your woolies on yet?
Good. How are you? Very excited about this webinar. And I just wanted to just say a couple of words because, you know, as innovation is the driver for growth and well-being, harnessing the benefits of innovation within education, publishing, and content creation is a key challenge. At ThingLink, we're working globally to innovate with content providers and education publishers of all sizes, whether born in the cloud or with a history spanning centuries. We help to shape and blend our digital and physical worlds, which enable personalized and differentiated learning, as well as contextual learning experiences. I'm really looking forward to this webinar. Looking forward to seeing some of the ThingLinks showcased. I'm really looking to understand how we can partner with you, add value to your existing and future content, as well as drive revenue with the collaborative go-to-market strategy. So thank you for your time, and back to you, Louise.
Oh, thanks, Stuart. Well, we'll pull you off the screen now. And Ula and I are just going to just touch a little bit on what ThingLink is. We just suddenly thought, well, there's some people on the channel here that might not know what ThingLink is. And if you haven't discovered ThingLink yet, where have you been? It's been around for 10 years. And it is a really mature EdTech tool. All credit to Ula having a 10th EdTech birthday this year. And with ThingLink, you can literally take an image, a 360 image, a video or a 360 video, upload that to ThingLink, and then put all these hotspots in where you can add in further images. You can even put in GIFs, video. You can embed tools and apps like videos. You can add audio in directly. And there you can see there's some questions that we've put in there as well. So as I mentioned, ThingLink is 10 years old. And Ula, you've really built up some partnerships over this time. Microsoft Gold Partner, Google Partner as well.
And for this reason also, because we've integrated with a lot of platforms and in the ecosystem. So we started talking about smart visual media, because we've had visual media, digital media there for many years, but now when it has become possible to both embed a lot of information or other services and images, it has also become possible to collect data during the experience. So we want to talk about smart visual media because we are continuously discovering new ways how we can make the learning experience smarter by embedding content and then also collecting data.
And those partnerships bring so many benefits. For example, some of you might have come across accessibility tools like Immersive Reader. And because of our partnership with Microsoft, you now can ensure that every text tag that's in ThingLink will open up into Immersive Reader. So that means that for publishers, if they are creating content, it also is another way that they're contributing towards meeting accessibility language, and they're also reaching out to countries who maybe don't have English as a first language or want to change languages, but also it can be used for some language education as well. So there's lots and lots of angles that are covered with the possibilities with Immersive Reader. As you might, well, some of you might be aware, ThingLink works across all devices and browsers. So we work on PC and Mac. I'm on a Chromebook today, which works perfectly. And we've also just done a little bit of development work on our iOS app as well. And it also works in the Safari browser. So you get some additional functionalities. So if you are on an iOS device, you might want to jump over to the Safari browser. The eagle-eyed ones amongst you might notice there's a VR icon in the corner. And of course, with your 360 content, you are able to use VR headsets, whether that's Google Cardboard, Oculus Rift, HTC, but also with ClassVR, who we're going to hear from in a minute. So just some examples that we're going to bring to you throughout this webinar. We're going to hear from Amanda, who's going to talk about some of the ways that she's bringing content to life to engage with her students. And if teachers are using this ways to engage with their students, you can imagine it's building this culture where education publishers will absolutely need to start using similar or even better tools. And then adding product value, where we're going to hear from Chris. And then we're going to show you some of those lovely examples of growth partnership. So I'm just going to quickly jump over to Chris and bring Chris in, because I know that also you have a son there who you want to make sure is okay and might run in at any moment. But we'd love to hear from you a little bit about some of the partnership work with ClassVR and how ThingLink's added product value to your particular EdTech tools. Oh, I think you're on mute, Chris. If you want to unmute yourself.
Ironically, I was just saying my first webinar like this, and I left myself on mute at the start. That's a walking cliche, isn't it? No, thank you so much.
The webinar bin. It's like kind of comedy gold, isn't it? It's like a bingo now.
But yeah, no, thank you so much for having me on. It's really exciting to be part of this, and you know, yeah, you've really hit the nail on the head there with the partnership. The partnership that you were talking about just now. You know, ClassVR's currently leading the way in being able to bring virtual reality into classrooms, and for us being able to partner up with you guys really filled a gap in what we were doing. We develop all of our content based around what our teachers need and what our users need, and we're always looking at what it is they want to do. And for so long, the ability to put things like hotspots and linking images together has been something that our user teachers were crying out for. So the partnership with yourselves is it's a dream come true for us, really, and it's such a pleasure to work with you guys as well. You're always such a joy to work with. So yeah, it's really added a lot of value to what we're doing.
Thanks, Chris. We've had some fun producing some nice case studies as well, haven't we, where we found educators who really are passionate about the products, and we've teamed up to give them support. We have a friend in Edinburgh. Obviously, I'm in Scotland, so it's easier for me. Well, it was. But yeah, we've been able to produce some really nice case studies that show both products in a really great light.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, it's always so exciting for me. I used to be a teacher before I worked for ClassVR, but the things that our teachers and our combined users have come up with so far has really blown me away. It never ceases to amaze me, the creativity, especially when so now we've got the ability to use videos in our headsets alongside ThingLink as well, which is really something we've been really striving for a while. So the possibilities are endless, really. So seeing people do virtual tours of their schools where you click on a hotspot in the headset and then a student pops up and explains to you exactly what it is you're looking at. It's just, it's mind-blowing, really.
And yeah, lots of more use cases to explore, I guess, at the moment, particularly when it's a real challenge to find places in context to visit if we can't physically go and visit those spaces. So trying to create content that you can bring those experiences into the classroom without actually having to travel is going to be something that's going to be really important for schools and for teachers in the future.
Yeah, I think so. And you know, now that, as you said, the ability to go even beyond your classroom is limited, I think the ability to do things like this in VR, but then also share it. I mean, you touched on earlier the idea of this community feel that ThingLink has. It's a very collaborative platform, and there's such a beautiful part of that when you're working with schools and seeing everyone pulling together and sharing this material with each other. That's really exciting. And that's almost with my teacher hat on as much as my VR hat on. Seeing people working together like that it's just amazing.
So if teachers want to use ClassVR and they want to add in ThingLink, if they're already existing users, or maybe they want to approach you and see if they can acquire that bundle, what would their sort of steps be? What would their process be?
Yeah, of course. So if you ever, if there's anything you want to know about VR in general or ClassVR specifically, or the combination of the two, ThingLink and ClassVR, and I think you said you put my contact details in that Google Doc. So we like to think of ourselves as a very approachable company. So that is literally my details. Come to me, ask me anything you need to know, and I will always more than happily talk about ThingLink or talk about ClassVR or just talk about VR in general. Because there's a huge amount I think that we can get by combining the two things.
Approachable and simple, super simple to create your ThingLinks and then hook the link over into your ClassVR interface and then push it out to the headsets.
Yeah, that's always been our ethos. I think if you're working in schools, you're talking about people with a very, very short time frame to be able to get content out and working on your headset. So we've really simplified the process of getting something from ThingLink into ClassVR. It's literally a couple of buttons of taking your 360 content and actually going and stepping around it. So that's always been really important for us. So yeah, and I think as well, I wanted to touch on what Ula was saying just now about that ability to localize your content. That's something that was really important to us with ThingLink as well. Obviously, we provide thousands of resources for our users to look at, but you're always going to want to do that localization. So when you've got schools now who are using things like 360 cameras, which are becoming more and more available, to go out and actually add that local content in and update it with the hotspots and create tours, that's so powerful and something that just wouldn't have been possible for us sitting solo on doing it on our own. So working with you guys has really helped our users do that.
Fantastic. And I just popped a picture in there of us all at BET. I know that we probably won't get to go to big events, not for a long time, but we share stands and support each other at those events as well, because it's quite an onerous task, I think, to go to. If everybody could go to an event, you'd probably be doubling up on resources. So yeah, it's been great to pop along and actually be face to face in those events, and fingers crossed we'll get that chance again in the future.
Yeah, well, you never know. Next year maybe we'll do some sort of virtual BET. We'll be wearing VR headsets and do it that way.
Chris, thank you so much for your time. There's a lot of love already coming through on the questions and the comments for you. So thank you very much, and keep in touch. And we'll make sure there's a recording and you send it out as well. So
amazing. Thank you so much for having me on, Louise.
Thanks so much, Chris. Bye for now. So I'm just going to hop back a couple of slides and just talk about some of the publishers that we're already working with to increase engagement. And whilst you see quite familiar names on this slide, I've just pulled out a couple. It's really interesting to see how it's really grown across the editorial space, publishers, and many of those publishers now are thinking about how they particularly branch out into the education space as well. I know National Geographic, Discovery have their own channel. Also, some of the HuffPost and obviously Johns Hopkins University there are really broadening their horizons. So it's been a pleasure to work with some of these major publishers with a global reputation. So you might have seen at the beginning of my slides that I did a little GIF with just a handful of the uses that we're seeing our whole community use ThingLink for. But I thought particularly for publishers, it might be good just to see some here. So you can see here that you've got people using it for mapping activities, then to organize content so that it's all in one place, to provide these kinds of language courses. There's someone there with that kind of media that's built in. But also then for experiments where the actual educators are showing an experiment process, and they're able to tag and then enable students to create a clone and then also add in their own tags. So it's been really, really popular this year. Vermont there, who've created a whole catalogue of cultural assets. And we're going to put the links in the chat so you can see these live versions. But I've been talking way too much. I think it's time now to hear from Amanda. I'm just going to bring Amanda into the stream, and Amanda's going to share her screen with you as well. I'll pop that in. But Amanda is a teacher who was on our last webinar, and she has absolutely been rocking ThingLink and home learning. And now you're not in home learning, but you're in kind of blended learning. But you just haven't given it up, have you? You're still
No, I absolutely love ThingLink. I came across ThingLink during lockdown, very, very early on in lockdown. And I instantly thought, oh, wow, this is going to be completely transformative. Yeah, it's just an incredible tool. And every day I think, oh, I could do this. Oh, we could do this with the kids. So the possibilities are endless. So I'm really excited to be here. Thank you so much for asking me to come along and talk. Please tell me to stop when I've done too much, because I could literally talk all night about ThingLink. So yeah, I'm really pleased to be here, and I'm excited that this is for publishers as well. But I think everybody should be engaging in ThingLink and should join us in the ThingLink journey, in the ThingLink world. So I am completely immersed in ThingLink now, and I use it for so many different things. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's good. So I'll just go ahead and share.
Yeah, share your screen, and then I'll pop it in, and I'll ping myself out so that it's just you and your screen. And then you can share some of those really lovely examples, because you've got quite a few examples now.
Yeah, I've got lots now, but I've chosen a few. So yeah, I'll share now.
Okay, great. And I can, is it there?
No, why did you not work? Share my entire screen. Yes. There.
I see it. There we go. I'm going to add you in, and I'm going to remove myself. So take it away, Amanda.
Okay, so this is where I started. Really at the beginning of all my little ones, I'm a tiny one teacher, so my little ones start to learn quite slower, and become 5 years old. So they're at 5 years old. So at the beginning of lockdown, they were all independently logging onto a computer. They could do that without any help, but we hadn't done an awful lot other than things like learning platforms like Education City and Reading Eggs and things like that. So they were all logging on, and then we went and we were using Microsoft Office and Teams, and very quickly it's quite difficult to keep little ones engaged in that way. In Scotland, I could do a live meeting, but I couldn't see the children. They could see me, but they couldn't see each other. So I could feel a little bit of fatigue, and then I discovered ThingLink. So this was my first ThingLink. And I quickly got fed up with listening to my own voice. So here's my Bitmoji. And yes, I have used these tags to give lesson instructions. I'll just show you this one.
We have written lots of sentences in class, so you should be able to write one of your very own.
So that was a multimedia tag. And then I came across another little app which helped me to engage my little ones even further.
Hi, Primary 1 Brilliant. Travis here. My mum says you are all brilliant at reading and writing sentences. So that's what she wants you to focus on this week. Reading and writing sentences. I can't wait to read what you've written.
So that, for my class, made such a huge difference in terms of health and well-being, engagement, interest. It really kind of sparked the learning at home. And it's a difficult time. It really was a difficult time. So this was my first ThingLink. It was quite simple. I spent a little bit of time doing the background image, but very, very quickly, uploading it into ThingLink, adding in my tags, using multimedia tags. I could add in a video from YouTube. This was a link to Education City for playing games, Oxford Owl. So all of these things. And what I think is amazing about ThingLink, it's very clear where the children have to click. These little tags all pulse, and the children can be independent. They can do this on their own. They don't need an awful lot of support to do this at all. And off they go. Off they go and can get busy. So
Click
there was a little assessment.
Have a wee go at the Kahoot quiz. Have fun.
So that way they could hear my voice, they could see my dog, that was Travis, giving instructions, and they absolutely loved it. The feedback was phenomenal. So I then went on the ThingLink journey, and I started creating different ThingLinks for different subjects. And eventually I created a tour. So this is one of my other pets. This is Herbert. Here we go.
Hello, Primary 1 brilliant boys and girls. Welcome to the great outdoors. This is my favourite place to be, and as you can see, I have signposted different places for you to explore. Have fun!
So yeah, I basically did a very simple background and put in a couple of things, and then I made a tour so they could go and learn about science, numeracy, health and well-being, literacy, art. Amazing. So my kids were out of my class. Probably I had regularly 70 to 80% of my kids that were engaging in this, and it was all down to ThingLink. So yeah, I've just gone on this massive journey in ThingLink and during lockdown. And then the final ThingLink in lockdown before the summer holidays was this, which made such a huge difference to my kids. This is my classroom, exactly how we left it the day we were told that we were going home into lockdown. So it's a bit of a mess, but I quickly took a 360-degree photograph and uploaded it to ThingLink. And this was just so engaging for my class. They loved that they could see their classroom. They could go and walk around. I had different tags for different things. They knew all of this. This is a really familiar place for my little ones anyway. And that was my final ThingLink of that year before the summer holidays. And I shared it through Teams. It's embedded in OneNote. Yeah, the feedback has just been phenomenal. So then we went into the summer holidays, and then I got thinking. I had a wee ponder about what I could do next with ThingLink, and I started thinking about how I could use it as a teaching tool, and also to create something that if we happen to go back into lockdown, I could share it with my wee ones, with my families, and they could use it as well. So I originally thought about phonics. How was I going to teach phonics? So I created my classroom background, and this is the area that I was really focused on. So I have the order that I'm teaching phonics and every single sound. So I can use this in class. My wee ones can use this independently. It's up on my Promethean board. I can use it in an iPad or on a computer or my phone, anything at all. And in here, I have my teaching sway. So I've embedded a sway with all of the teaching points that I need to go through with my little ones. Absolutely everything. There is everything I need for teaching each and every sound. And then these are links to YouTube. Geraldine, Mr. Thorne does phonics, and Geraldine the giraffe. So there's different Geraldine videos. And there's another video from YouTube here. And then letter formation. That's a little video. A game that they can go and practice, and Skywriter. How do you write letters? Amazing. This makes things so much easier for me as a teacher, as an educator in school. I don't have to have 20 tabs open on my computer thinking, where is the story? Where is the game? Where is that? I don't have to do any of that. The last thing that I'm doing in each of this is this amazing little custom tag here, which I love as well. I can upload my own little custom tags. It is about teaching digital literacy, about keyboard skills, which is super tricky for my wee ones. And every time I teach a sound in phonics, I teach where it is on the keyboard. So this one is blank. And this one is what you would expect to see. Now I have got a copy of this huge display on my wall in my classroom. I've also got keyboards. I've got laminated keyboards. and then we go find where it goes, and we go and stick it up on our keyboard, and that's what we're doing for phonics. So it was a huge amount of work over the summer holidays, but a complete and utter labour of love. I can go back to the main grid and back to my main classroom, and I have this main classroom, this is called All the Resources, up on my board all day, every day, and my wee ones can just go and investigate. So I have this in my numeracy section, lots of games, lots of resources. Up here is teaching about numbers, and same sort of idea about phonics. So there's a sway, there is some videos and some songs and how to form these numbers. So that's what I use as my teaching ThingLink. And then just recently, I thought, okay, I've spent lots of time developing these for teaching, for using in the class, but what can I do to get the kids more involved? So last week it was International Dot Day, and my wee ones created their own artwork. So they painted, they stuck glitter, they just went wild, had a great time, and I quickly took photographs of all of them, uploaded them into ThingLink, and then I'm going to click on this one.
I made orange by mixing yellow and red. And the color and yellow became to orange instead of yellow, and that's why I made an orange dot. And I also put seashells and fishies on it, and a seahorse and starfish and the weeds and lots of wee dots and my name.
So the kids can actually talk about their own artwork, share it from no technology to ThingLink technology. It's amazing. So we shared this on Twitter so the parents can actually see the artwork, because we can't send anything home. We can't share anything like that, really. We can't have parents in the school. But I can share this on Twitter. The kids can explain what they've done. And I mean, it's just been absolutely amazing. I absolutely love it. Today, well, last night I had a wee ponder about how I could do storytelling in my class. And my kids love to build. They build with everything that they can get their hands on. And they created this really intricate building, and I took a picture of it. Now, the whole class got involved. Everybody was talking about what they could do, how they could build it. And they literally used everything they could get their hands on. There's stickle bricks and Duplo and Lego and blocks. And there's a little game over here, and there's animals. And then today, they actually, I'm going to show you a picture actually, because I've got, I think here, they were choosing their own tags today in class. So they could actually choose their own tags, and that was not it. And then they could actually record their favourite part of what they were building. So I'll just click on this one.
There's monkeys climbing the tree. There's Katie, Rosie, and Nyla.
So everyone that wanted to get involved with telling the story behind this building did. So that's just literally breaking news, has been shared on Twitter tonight. Now, I have got so many ideas about what I could do with ThingLink, but one of the very, very small ones is if I could have a digital book interactive on ThingLink. That would be incredible for reading, for developing vocabulary, for independence. Just absolutely amazing, amazing. So yeah, that's my journey on ThingLink. I'm at the beginning. I've only been ThingLinking since March or April time. April. So yeah, I would totally recommend everybody having ThingLink in their life. If I could get publications, resources, books, interactive on ThingLink, that would be absolutely amazing. So I'm going to stop talking because I'm totally babbling, and I'll stop hearing.
I never want to stop you. You're just so, Amanda, it's just so much love for you out there as well. It's just amazing. So thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And I know that people already in the document have been asking for your examples and to hook up with you on Twitter.
Happy to collaborate, Magpie ideas, of course. But yeah, I literally have so many ideas in my brain, just pouring. I just don't have enough time in the day. I need a day in between Saturday and Sunday to get all my ideas created. But I love it. So thank you so much for creating something.
Oh, no. Oh, well, I'm sure Ula probably wants to come in and say something here as well now. You're just on mute.
Of course. Amanda, that was fantastic. And, so you had so many great examples. And I was thinking when you were showing the last example, that's like what student-centered learning remotely can be at its best. Really, that it was really wonderful. And I was earlier thinking, I'm like, well, I mean, you also have the best examples how to create the personal connection by adding the dog and cat actually giving students instructions. They love that, and that's a wonderful example how to engage, especially elementary school students in a new way. And but yes, this last example I had not seen before, and I think like this perfectly exemplifies that what you can do with different kind of bundles, that if education publishers not only provide like access to ready-made material, but they also give teachers and students the tools then to build on and tell their own stories. So then it really serves all the 21st century learning goals, because creating something like this, students need to use their creativity in so many ways, and it builds their confidence when they learn to express themselves using their voice and all the different forms. So that's really wonderful. Thank you so much, Amanda. Lovely to have you.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. I mean, my kids, they love making it, but they love even more listening to themselves. So all day I'll hear them, they'll go up and they'll tap their little icon and they'll be listening to themselves. They just love it. And now, I mean, I've still got wee ones in my class that are 4 years old who were just at the beginning of this year. Some of them are 5, but now they're coming to me and saying, oh, can we take a picture of this and then make a story on ThingLink? Yes, we can. We absolutely can. I can't photograph my record. Yes, I can. So we've got lists and lists of things to do. So it's amazing. Thank you so much for creating it.
Thanks, Amanda. And yeah, can't thank you enough. Honestly, it's just a real pleasure to listen to you, and we'll be in touch, no doubt. Lots of ideas bubbling. So thanks ever so much again.
Thank you.
And I'm just going to add my stream back in here now, because Ula, you're going to talk about some of the partnerships as well.
Yes, I wanted, so again, like summarizing the previous examples from the publisher point of view. So we have lots of examples where we can help publishers, for example, drive subscriptions just by helping them make their content more engaging. And then we have examples where we can help publishers provide additional value to their existing subscription by also bundling the tool for schools and teachers. And thirdly, I wanted to talk about, quickly show some examples about some growth partnership options. And so we recently started thinking about not only driving subscriptions, not only providing the authoring tools, but also thinking about, could we actually help education publishers grow revenue and find new or develop new products together. And so this kind of example come from not only digital education publishers, but also working with colleges and universities. And so here is a case where we work with several vocational schools and universities in Finland. And I guess like we also forgot to say the ThingLink originally is from Finland. I'm currently in Finland, probably hear from my accent. So we work with a lot of Finnish university and colleges, and many of them, for years, they've offered teacher training in all around the world. And so now comes March and April, and they cannot really do that anymore. And so we get some of our partners contacting us and saying like, hey, so we have to do something because we can't really train our partners anymore. And we scheduled 5 teacher trainings all around the world, and we just can't do like it's hard to do it remotely. Like, what can we do? And so their question was, can they run an entire training or course on ThingLink, or can they build an entire program on ThingLink? And so we started looking into making it possible to create bigger entities. So not only creating one virtual tour or one interactive video, but we started looking into how you can actually create entire embeddable content modules. So it could become a course, or it could become an interactive training. And so this example here is we worked with some teachers from the University of Eastern Finland, and started figuring out, like, okay, so if we help them, if they want to create interactive content modules, like what kind of elements it should have, and how they'd like to organize it. And so this example is a formative assessment course module. And really the key is that in the module you can combine various forms of media. And so we want to have the same kind of a pace where you first might have a little bit about a theory part. So there might be a couple of guest lectures, introduction to a topic, but then you can also observe situations in real world environments. And now, Luis, if you want to change to the next slide. So what we made possible, that you can combine these two. So you combine video lessons, and by the way, interactive video lessons, so that you also know if participants have seen those videos. You can add some questions along the way or some checkpoints in the videos themselves, and then you can transition to an environment. So this is what we've done here is we've shot 360 videos in different kind of situation where there are teacher students, and they're doing different kind of exercises in the classroom. So we thought that this is an exciting way to kind of like almost like develop like a new format for e-learning, where you can fluently change from one type of media to another. But throughout the whole experience, you can keep collecting data about the learner engagement and about the learner performance as well. So these modules, and actually maybe I had it on the previous slide, or now I forgot what slide, but these are embeddable. I don't know if there is a image somewhere where this module goes to several LMSs. Yes. So the whole point is that these modules can be consumed on any platform. So they're embeddable the same way as individual ThingLinks are embeddable. And so in the next 12 months, we're going to be working with several partners developing interactive content modules in several areas. So I just wanted to, in this webinar, invite, like, if there are publishers who are interested in piloting these kind of content modules, paid content modules, feel free to stay to touch base with us after this webinar and drop us an email and say, like, hey, you know, I already have this kind of content. Can this be turned into an interactive content module? We're happy to talk more.
Ulla, that's just incredible. That's actually the first time that I've seen that little shot of video. I've seen some other video, and I was chatting to somebody on Twitter, and even with the other one that we have, that we usually use, which is a 360 of a cookery lesson, and the teacher has put points of interaction with the students, they said, wouldn't it be great to have a 360 from one angle and then the same event in the classroom, but from another 360 angle taken from the back of the students, so you can see the teacher view and the student view as well, and then you could compare and contrast. So I mean, when you think about things like that, that's so valuable for trainee teachers to have that experience. And with what's happening going on now, you just would never be able to do that, would you? You just couldn't get that kind of experience to travel to other schools and see that.
Yes, absolutely. And another point is there are lots of areas like technical education and a lot of the vocational education. It's very context specific, and it's currently not a challenge, it's a catastrophe really for a lot of schools, where students can't really spend any time in the real world environment, real world learning environments, practicing, or just like trying to figure out the basic tools and orient it to the whole situation. So we are definitely seeing a lot of interest and a lot of use cases within vocational technical education, and there specifically we see a lot of potential turning an entire course, or even a program, even a degree, to a 360 digital 360 environment.
Ulla, that's just such a good build-up for having a look at CIMA as well, because you've alluded to the fact that there are some really exciting developments happening with ThingLink, and that might be a good cue for me to jump in and then focus on what that actually looks like, give everyone a sneaky peek. But thank you so much for explaining some of those uses, and we'll bring you back in to look at the Q&A in a short while. So thanks, Ulla. So I'm just going to go back to my deck here, because I've got some really nice examples to show you. Now, introducing CIMA. So some of you might not know who or what CIMA is, but CIMA is actually the largest lake in Finland. And the development team and Ulla were looking for a name, a really good name for our new user interface. And CIMA seemed to fit because it's this incredibly atmospheric and beautiful and simplistic but stunning lake in Finland. And we think this is going to be a suitable name for our interface, which is going to show the future of e-learning. So I'm just going to show you some of what this looks like. So it's incredibly clean and fresh and uncluttered, so that the user experience is that they'll be able to log in with their account and have greater functionality. And I'll show you what some of that functionality looks like now. But having this user interface has given us the option to have a rethink and listen to educators and some of our publishers and some of our other users to actually see how we can develop, particularly with e-learning in mind, because that's the one use case that's really stood out for us. So one of the features will be that you can bulk upload 360 content, or in fact any media. So here you can see I've gone to upload a file, which would have been your create button. And now it gives me the option to upload many different types of media in one go. So here we go, I'm uploading files here, and it's going to enable schools and publishers to very quickly upload that content, which is just fantastic. The other option here is that folders are going to have more granular control, and you'll be able to group your users, and then that will give that group an identity, so you can share that folder with that particular group, which is going to be very, very helpful for managing numbers of users in one go. So as you can see, lots of great uses there, from a user perspective who maybe wants to do a school tour, to a publisher that wants to upload lots and lots of media there. And once that media is uploaded, it's automatically a ThingLink. And then, of course, the editor experience, which we updated last year, will remain the same. So Ulla mentioned this, and I think this is probably one of the most exciting developments, and that at the moment, your users, when they log into ThingLink, they are a creator, or they see the same kind of creator interface. But what we're able to do with these interactive content modules is that there'll be a consumer view. So you'll have your own profile page for your organization, and the consumer, and here you go, that's a profile page, can see those modules. And those modules can be a series of ThingLinks that are collected together into that module. So this means that you can create those courses and then add in those rich tags into those courses and enjoy all of the other features, whether it's statistics or whether it's the kind of audio and the other video tags that you'll see in the ThingLink editor. So you might like to see, you might like not to see my sample question that I put on here, pineapple on a pizza. Some people say, yes, brilliant. No way, some people say, but I just thought that was a funny example to show you. But we now have our own native ThingLink form. So some of you might already use third-party types of forms, but of course that's pulling your data into a different direction and with a different platform. But this native ThingLink form will be attributed to the user or the consumer that's logged in and viewing that ThingLink. So it means that you can actually use this for data such as a research tool and obtain that research, particularly pertaining to the context of that ThingLink. But then what you can also do is use this for mandatory training, because it's absolutely linked to that user because they've logged in to see it. So, for example, if you were creating health and safety training and you wanted to make absolutely sure that person had completed that training, then this would be a way for you to do this. And it's important for me to say that, you know, this is quite in its infancy at the moment, but we will be adding in other features to ThingLink forms, such as the ability to export into CSV, but also different types of questions. So you'll probably see those expand, but we're super excited about ThingLink forms. So that's given you a run through of some of the big features that are going to be coming. And we've also put our Q&A and idea sparks out there. And some of you have been asking questions in that document. And I'm just going to bring in now the rest of the team to see if there's any other questions that we just want to add in. So Ula, I'm just bringing you back in. Was there any other things that you wanted to add to those developments? Because, I mean, they're pretty big updates. There's a lot of love coming through on the chat for them.
You did a great job presenting those, and I think just like the two big, like the three big topics that will be on our roadmap next year is building ThingLink into an adaptive learning environment. So we are going to be introducing different kind of ways to collect data and then use that data to improve the learner experience. That's one. Secondly, we're going to make content creation for bigger entities easier. So we are looking ways to create templates for teachers. A lot of teachers, they don't have a lot of time to create entire courses and, you know, how to do, where to start. We're going to make that easier. And then thirdly, offline viewing. That's important.
Offline viewing is huge, particularly when people might have limited connectivity, given the situation, not just because of where they are physically located, but because connectivity might be too expensive. You know, there's a whole multitude of reasons, and increasing access to technology is just, you know, an absolute prerequisite for every ed tech company to think about. So I'm just going to see if there's any questions onto the chat. So someone was asking if we are GDPR compliant. Absolutely, yes. And there's a summary link in our document there to some of the GDPR or COPPA or FERPA or any of those that people might want to check out as well. We've also had a comment for Amanda. Someone's also using their pet Coco the cat to create some engaging content as well with their students. I'm just loving all of the animals that are coming out at the moment. But we've got a couple of minutes left, and I can't kind of wrap up the webinar without saying, you know, what's happened this year, and it's been such a huge driver for change. You know, COVID has literally been the boot, hasn't it, up the kind of backside of kind of cultures of change. We've seen teachers have to change their practice in a day, and that's been a real struggle. But it's also really admirable of the way that teachers have definitely, you know, pulled all their resources in, and we take our hats off to everybody, and we're a pleasure to have been part of that. But also, that it's important that we work with partners as well. And I think Audrey from UNESCO, her quote really sums it up, that we haven't ever witnessed education disruption at this scale. Partnership has to be the only way forward. And this is a call for coordinated and innovative action to unlock solutions that are going to support learners and teachers now. And I know, Ula, that's been a core part of what we've been doing this year. And we're certainly open to speak to any publishers or any other partners that want to come forward.
Absolutely. Thank you, Louise. Thanks for putting this webinar together. Do you have a couple of last slides about our contact information? If somebody wants to talk to you after this webinar, talk to Stuart, talk to me.
Yes, so it's actually on the document. So we have our document that we put up, and I've put the whole team's details in there so people can keep not only the questions, but it's got the email addresses to everybody there, our social media as well. It's too much to put on one slide. So everything is there on that document. And the great thing about that document is that we'll just keep adding to it so that people can have the freshest updates, and we'll keep in touch. We'll put the date of the next webinars. We're going to do these on a monthly basis. We did one last month, which is for educators return to learn. I do understand that our next month is going to be for higher education. So I'm quite excited to see what's going to happen at that one as well, because I know that the universities have got some great examples to show us as well. So as we bring this to a close, it's just for me to say a big thank you to everyone who's watching, everyone that's watching this live, but will also watch it on the catch up. I can't thank Amanda enough, who has just been phenomenal as always. But yeah, just to see some of those examples. And for you who can't see backstage, I think we actually had Travis the dog in real life jumping over Amanda in the backstage room here. But it's a big hearty thank you from me to everybody, and to Ula, and to the whole team. And we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.